Have you ever wondered why people visit your website and leave within seconds? Picture this, walking into a store, taking a look around, and immediately walking in. That's exactly what's happening to your website right now, and it's costing you valuable customers and sales. Hey, it's Brandon with Beehurst Media, and I'm here to share some information that's going to transform your online. Today, we're diving deep into a problem that affects every single website owner: visitors bouncing. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why visitors leave your site, and more importantly, how to keep them engaged. The digital window shopping problem. You've invested time, money, and endless effort into your website. But here's the harsh truth. Most visitors make their decision to stay or leave within the first 10 seconds of landing on your website. Let's break down why this happens and how to fix it. The first major issue is when visitors can't find what they're looking for. It's like walking into a store where nothing is labeled properly. Your visitors need clear navigation and obvious pathways to the information they want. Or your website might be triggering trust alarm bells. Outdated design, lack of security badges, or missing contact information can make visitors question if you're legit. And the fastest way to lose a visitor deals with speed. If your website takes more than 3 seconds to load, you're already losing visitors. Studies show that every second delay can result in a 7% reduction in conversions. Then, make sure your website is easy to understand. Visitors need clear direction. If they don't know what to do next, whether it's making a purchase, signing up, or contacting you, they're just going to leave. I probably don't have to tell you this next one, but mobile is huge. With over 60% of web traffic coming from mobile devices, if your site isn't mobile friendly, you're alienating the majority of your potential customers. The first step to fixing these problems is figuring out they even exist. So let's play detective with your website. Here's what you need to do first. Open your website in an incognito or private browser. The reason why you want to do that is, one, your browser, if it's your website, is already cached it, and you want to see what your customers or visitors are seeing for the first time without the cache and cookies. Next, after you can see if it looks good or not, you're going to try to complete the common tasks like book a call or test different web pages on your website. Is the navigation working properly? Or when you scroll down, are the elements showing up properly? If you have any animation or anything like that, is that looking right as it comes in? Those are all things that you definitely want to check. The next thing you want to do is test it on different devices. Just because it's working on one browser does not mean it's working on all of them. So what you can do is download other browsers for your computer, or open it up on another computer, or your phone, or any of that kind of stuff. Test it on multiple devices there. One thing you can do too is if you are on a computer and you want to see what it looks like on mobile, you can do right click, click inspect, and then from here, if you're using a Chrome-based browser, you can click the little toggle device toolbar, and then you can see what it looks like on different screen sizes. And it has a little bar you can pull to see, based on like how wide it is, how your content's going to look as you scroll down. If things look like it's messed up, then you probably want to fix it. The next thing you want to do is test your load time. And the one that I recommend using is GTmetrix, because you can sign up for a free account, but then it gives you some easy to read metrics, where some of the other ones are a little bit harder to understand what those numbers actually mean. So if you go to gtmetrix.com, type in the URL you want to test, and then click test now. It's going to pop up the loading screen, start analyzing it and checking it out, and give you a report back. We can then check it out and see, one, what grade they give. Now, these two metrics here, I don't care about as much. The one that I really care about is how fast it loads here. The first contentful paint, that's the big one here. So when visitors actually start seeing it, and then the fully load time is when it's all done loading. The time to interactive, though, is a very key metric that you want to pay attention to, because it means you can actually use it. So we want to get that speed down as low as we can. Now, this website's loading fully loaded in 0.5 seconds, so it's loading really fast. Now, a lot of websites, if you have not spent time working on the speed optimization for it, it's going to take a while to load. And you'll see in here how long it takes. For instance, like Time to Interactive, websites that come to us to get optimized, a lot of them are loading 5 seconds or longer just to be able to interact with it, which, like I said before, you're going to lose out on a lot of visitors that way, because they don't want to sit around and wait for your website to load. I do recommend checking that out as far as the speed goes. This does give you a lot of reports on what you can do. If you look underneath the top issues, it's going to tell you the top things that it thinks that you can do to optimize it. So if it was like something that's loading bad, or you have a lot of resources on it, it's going to show up red here and saying hi, and it's going to show you that you should optimize images, or show you that you need to optimize files, any of that kind of stuff. One thing that's really cool is they provide a waterfall on how things get loaded. So you can come in here and see all the resources that get loaded into here and how long it takes for them to get loaded. So for instance, if you have like a tracking script on your website, some of those tracking scripts can take a while to actually get loaded, and it might affect the user experience. So you want to optimize those kind of things to make sure that it's working properly. And then the last thing that I would recommend doing is just getting some honest feedback from other people. Someone who's gonna actually tell you what they think, not just say like, "Oh, it's pretty, it looks great." You want some actual honest feedback. You can ask them if they found anything confusing or if there's something that looks weird. Just figure out what they want, because the main reason is if someone goes to your website, you're not going to be there to explain what they need to do or where they need to go. So if someone is confused on how to use something, that's good feedback for you, so you can go ahead and fix that. Here are some immediate actions you can take to improve your website. One of the best things you can do is simplify your navigation menu. If you go to a website and there's a bunch of different options at the top and it's not what you're really there looking for, then you're going to bounce off. You're not going to find the stuff that you're looking for right away, and you're just not going to feel like it's an easy user experience. By simplifying it, taking your top pages that you actually want people to go to, you're going to be able to lay out a path for that best user experience. So on our OnVert website, we have our navigation pretty simple. It's a software, so most people are going to want to know a few different things. They want to know what kind of features the software has, how it's going to help them, how much it costs, is there any help documentation, and can I see a demo of it? Or if you are already a user, can I log in easy? A lot of people, when they first go to a website or they get signed up for something, they don't know the main login URL for it. They'll go back to that main homepage, and if it's not an easy spot for them, they get frustrated. They start scrolling around, clicking a bunch of different things, and it's just not a good user experience. So I do recommend having a login button for software, at least, towards the top of the page. And since we had already simplified our menu down here so much, we had enough space for a login and a sign up button at the top without making it confusing for either one of them. Another thing you can do too is, if let's say you have a lot of options you want to go over, we have a lot of features in our software. So when you hover over the feature side of things, it pops up all the different features here. And we used more of a larger menu with this part to actually give you a better explanation of what those features are. So this makes it super easy for someone to glance over it. And then if they want to learn more, they can click it and they'll go to that page. That will make life a lot easier when setting up a menu. Now, as someone who loves to talk about conversions, I cannot stress how important this next step is. You need to add clear call to actions on every single page you have. If they go to a website page and there's not a call to action on it, you might as well just send them a brochure in the mail and hope that they call. Now, call to action starts with your goal. For us on OnVert, our goal is to get people either to sign up or book a demo. We have those are our main things that we want people to do. The whole website is dedicated towards that. We have 2 call to action set up. They're both in the long run going to be going that same action of getting started. But what we do is just help people determine what path they want. We have our main headline, talk a little bit about it, and then our call to actions are get started and book a demo. And you'll notice we have multiple call to actions in multiple areas on the website to get started or book a demo or learn more about that feature, because we want to make sure that it's easy for people to book a demo or they know what the next step is. As you can see, as I scroll down this website, there's a lot of information here. So we don't want to make it hard for someone when they're ready to get started. We want them to be able to easily jump into that. So instead of them having to scroll all the way back up or all the way down or trying to find a button to get started, we implement a bunch of different call to actions throughout the page. So at least have one call to action on the page. If not, like I said, have multiple. Then one thing that I like to do as well for most websites is, if you have a footer on your website, most people are pretty familiar with that. I like to take a call to action section right above it and make sure that's on every single page. So as people get down to the bottom of it, they're going to see a major call to action, and that should be your main goal. Just for the last little hurrah to get people to sign up. Let's talk about optimizing your images. Optimizing your images can be super easy. Let's say you just have a bunch of images that you want to optimize before you upload them, which I do recommend. That is a nice thing to do. There are ways to do that. The free service you can use is called TinyPNG. You can go ahead and just drop your images in here and they will give you a compressed image from there that you can upload to your website. Now, if you're using a WordPress website, another tool that I like to recommend is called Imagify. We use this a lot on our client sites where we can go ahead and upload all the photos to it, and then we use this tool to automatically compress them as they get uploaded, or let's say if you built out a website or you've never optimized your images, you can do a bulk optimization and compress them. And then there has an option in there to swap out photos with a better file type that loads faster. It's super important to make sure that it's easy for someone to contact you. So if you have, let's say you have a phone number that people can call, I would recommend putting the phone number at the top of the website. If you don't, make sure a contact form or a book a call button are easy to access. We have this big book a call button right up here. It makes it super easy for people to book a call because ultimately I want to get someone on a call to talk to them and see how we can help. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you have different trust signals on your website. So that could be like testimonials, security badges, businesses you've worked with, any of that kind of stuff. Some of the trust signals that we use on our website are some like websites that we build for other clients. We have a bar here that scrolls across of different businesses we work with, all that kind of stuff. And then if you scroll further down, we have reviews and testimonials, the testimonial videos, and then reviews here. All that kind of stuff helps build out the trust. So because people want to know what kind of experience they had with you in the past. Let's talk about setting up your website for long-term success. For lasting results, consider these kind of strategies. Invest in a professional web design and hosting. A professional website design will make sure your website stands out from competition, and the hosting will make sure that it's secure, updated, and running fast. Next, you're going to want to implement regular speed optimization. This includes checking out the images, checking out the hosting, making sure that the software is all good, because any of those things change over time. If you add new content to it or the software gets updated, your speed might be affected by it, and we want to make sure that the website's always running at its top performance. Then create a content strategy that addresses visitor questions. The best thing you can do is if you get a question from a potential client or a visitor asking about your services, answer the question and then create a blog post about it, or do a frequently asked questions setup for it, because that way, if you can go through and eliminate any kind of questions that people have before even talking to you, you've done an awesome job at making sure that they trust you, and then they know that you are an expert in your field. I'd also recommend using the heat mapping tools to track visitor behavior. Now, a heat map is awesome because you can go ahead and see where people are clicking or where people are hanging out, or like, for instance, doing the rage clicks. I'm sure you've all been there where you're hitting the button a few times because it's not loading fast. You can see where people are getting frustrated there. A heat map will allow you to see that kind of stuff. And then please make sure you do regular mobile usability testing. This is going to make sure that your website is always looking good on mobile because, like I said, over 60% of people who visit websites, if not more, are using a phone. And it's just the way the world's going to be, and it's going to continue going down that route. Less and less people are actually using desktops these days, and mobile is the main thing that people are using. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with someone else that might need it. If you want to dive deeper, you can download our free website audit checklist in the description below. Remember, your website is often the first impression potential customers have of your business, and small improvements can lead to big changes in your conversion rates.